Christina writes, "The last week of November 2006 found me walking up the front steps of a Seventh-day Adventist Church. It had taken 56 years of God's gentle patience and guidance to get me here. I was baptized in May 2007 and was asked to become the church treasurer in September 2009. I had no aptitude for mathematics. In fact, it was a subject I hated with a passion all my school years. Bill, the man who had introduced me to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, who was a very successful businessman himself, knew my capabilities and said that if there was one job at church that I wasn't suitable for, it would be that of treasurer. But I had learned enough about God to know that he knew how unsuitable I was. Hadn't he watched my struggles all my life? I knew that he was calling me for this task, and I knew that he would help me. Bill was horrified when I accepted the job. "You won't be able to do it," he said. He would gladly have done the work for me, but he lived over an hour away, on the other side of the city. Neither of us was computer literate, so he would have had to physically be with me. Nevertheless, he rang me almost every day, but that wasn't much help to me. God was wanting to prove something here, and he blocked Bill at every turn. The former treasurer was going through a personal crisis and was in no condition to give me the time I needed. It was so difficult for me. I set aside the whole day on Sunday, as I never knew the problems I would face and how long it would take me to get the bookwork done and to get the money ready for banking on Monday morning. As time went by, I continued to struggle. I could have given it up thousands of times, but I knew that to give it up because it was too difficult was not the right reason. That would be admitting that God couldn't help me. And I was beginning to enjoy the hours I spent at my kitchen table, just him and me. It was always a great time of rejoicing when, week after week, everything worked out. 11 years later, about 2 a.m. one morning, I suddenly awoke and sat up in bed. The words in my head said, 11 years are enough. It took me some time to fully comprehend what was happening. Then I said, "But Lord, my term isn't up yet." Our church was a small church, and we held our board positions for 2 years. I was strongly impressed to get out of bed and check the books. To my astonishment, I saw that my term would be finished at the end of June, in 6 weeks' time. That was plenty of time to hand in my notice and for a replacement to be found. At the end of June, I handed over the books to the new treasurer with every cent accounted for. Only then did I fully understand the huge miracle that had taken place. As it is written in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 to 10, from the Message, I was given the gift of a handicap to keep me in constant touch with my limitations. I was glad to let it happen. I quit focusing on the handicap and began appreciating the gift. It was a case of Christ's strength moving on my weakness. I just let Christ take over. And so, the weaker I get, the stronger I become. P.S. Bill died in the early hours of 2014. He didn't live long enough to see the Lord releasing me from the treasury. But he had lived long enough to see what God will do if we trust him. He openly admitted, to anyone who would listen, that he realized his faith had been weak. His life completely changed after that, and his death was sweet and peaceful. Christina finishes saying, "If you want to use this, please make any changes you want, and you don't have to use my name. This can be anyone's story, if they place their trust in the Lord."